The Hayes Young Professionals continues on in their mission to strengthen the business community in Ellis County. From the Hayes Chamber, Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Mariah Legleiter, stops by to talk about that and more on this episode of the Post Podcast.
So I am actually a member of the Hayes Young Professionals, and so this year we've kind of switched some things around a little bit, and we just kind of wanted to talk about it and let everybody know what was going on. One of the biggest changes is we changed the name of our Membership Development Committee. We changed it to the Leadership Development Committee because they are going to be focused more on cultivating leadership and growing, HYP as an organization and kind of just fostering that leadership within individuals. So since they have kind of made that their focus, and they kind of already had made that their focus, so the committee itself isn't going to change much. We just thought that name better suited what they were doing and kind of explained better what they were doing. And we don't get confused with the Management Development Center anymore, because it used to be MDC, and everybody was like, well, which MDC are you talking about? So, we kind of switched that around a little bit just for clarity's sake. And so that's something we're very much looking forward to this year.
Very cool. Yeah, and we talk about a lot about leadership and entrepreneurship here on the show. But we've, obviously in the chamber too, you guys have to kind of rebrand, because chambers don't really have the same function they had 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different kind of environment and need in the community. And you guys are adapting to that. And I love that. Yeah,
absolutely. We love, we like to say that just because it's always been done this way doesn't mean we should keep doing it that way. So we are always open to feedback and just being able to shift. And we have a joke, you've seen the Friends show and where they say pivot all the time. So we have that joke around the office that we are good at pivoting.
Love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the details. Like, what does actually being a Hayes Young Professional look like? Well, maybe before we even get into that, like, how do you sign up? I think you would have to be a chamber member.
Yes.
Yeah.
We actually do have a non-member rate. So if you are working for someone that is not a chamber member, we highly recommend that you kind of nudge them in that direction. But if they just don't want to be a chamber member, we do have a non-member rate. So anybody can join HYP, anybody. And you just pay the fee. And then it goes through your employer most of the time. But if you're an independent member through a non-member, if that made sense, employer, then that works too. So definitely don't want to exclude anybody. But typically it does go through your employer, and you work out whether they're going to pay for your membership or whether you'll pay for your membership. You kind of work that out with them. And then you'll fill out an application, and we actually introduce you in the newsletter every month. So there is an HYP page in our newsletter. And on that page, you will see a headshot and a quick quote about what you hope to gain from HYP, which is super fun to put together every month. I like seeing what everybody has to say. So that's always a fun part for me. But yeah, super simple to get involved. If you ever have any questions or need help with the application or the process, you can always give us a call at the office, 785-628-8201, and any one of us can answer your questions.
Very cool. I'm curious, you mentioned the non, if your employer's not a member, but if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of just doing your own thing, could they still sign up, or would they okay, cool.
Yep. They'd just be at that non-member rate.
Very neat.
Yep.
Because I think about all the networking opportunities and the fun events. We're going to talk about the events, but all those networking opportunities that might be so valuable for an entrepreneur, trying to just make connections.
And that is a really good segue into our events that we host. We do, one of my favorite events every month is our Hayes Young Professionals Connection Lunch. And it's right there in the name. It's to make connections with people. And our first one is actually going to be tomorrow. So we'll get into that when we talk about events for the week. But that is definitely something that is super exciting and something new we do. We have one every month except for the summer months and I think December. So it's something you can get together to do every month with your fellow HYPs. Those lunches are held at Thirsty's Brew Pub and Grill, usually in the venue, but this first one of the year, they have a party going on there. So that day, so we had to switch it to the small party room.
Which, everybody, I've heard this like 3 or 4 times here on the show. It's a small room, but it's smaller than the venue, but it's not a small room.
No, it's not.
I've been in plenty of meetings and things in there, and like you can cram a good number of people in that room.
Absolutely can.
And of course, Thirsties is always a good time.
Oh, absolutely. He treats us very well. So some of the other events that HYP kind of hosts and has going on, we have the first Thursday socials. Last year, if you remember, those were the third Thursday socials. But that seemed to be a difficult time for everybody to get together because there's a lot of stuff happening on the third Thursday of the month.
Well, you know why? Because it sounds so good. It's a marketing thing,
yeah,
third Thursday.
That's why we thought it would be good. Yeah, so we changed it to the first Thursday. So we do have first Thursday socials where you can just come and socialize with fellow HYPers. And I should have mentioned the connection lunches. We always bring in a speaker for those. So you get to connect with somebody in the business community that has, they come in and talk about all kinds of stuff from foundations to just how to get a business started to networking and what that actually means. And I mean, we just have a variety of topics that are relevant in today's society. And we also always participate in the trick or treat so others can eat in the fall.
Amazing program there.
Yeah. And that is always super fun to just get together, and it's a great time. I mean, we bring our kids and our kids help us. Like, it's definitely a family-friendly thing that we all get together and we walk the street and we just pick up the groceries. And my favorite is hearing all the stories about going up to people's houses and they're like, oh, well, come in and have some cookies or come in and, do this and then take our groceries take the groceries with you. So it's always a fun time and a way to connect with the community. We also do the holiday cheer event, which just happened a couple months ago, where we all meet at Hayes Public Library and we get different supplies. We have construction paper and tons of glitter and craft supplies, and we let little kids create holiday cards that go to all of the area nursing homes. So that is also something that is a great way that we give back to the community and something I look forward to every year. And my daughter asks me about all the time. She knows when Christmas is coming and she always asks, well, are we going to go color those cards again, Mom? Because that was so fun. So that's always something we look forward to. And then our biggest event of the year is always the community street dance in the summer. And so that is something that has kind of grown over the last couple of years. And we've had a lot more like local food vendors that have taken part in that. We always get a band to play downtown and have food trucks set up, and we have a great time at that summer art walk.
I'm trying to remember who played. I was there.
Anthony and the Animals.
Anthony and the
Animals
yes.
was last year's.
It's always a good time with them.
Yes. So that's always fun. And then there's always ways to get involved with the HYP. Just because you're a member, you don't have to wait for our big events every month or every quarter or however often we do our big events. You can always get involved by joining one of our committees. So as I said before, we had our leadership development committee that was the MDC. And now they're focused on, just honing those leadership skills and giving leadership opportunities to people in HYP. And then we also have our networking and engagement committee, and they are focused on making sure that those big events happen and go off smoothly. So if either of those things interest you, then definitely look into one of those committees or both of those committees. If you're looking to get involved at like a higher level, you can always chair one of those committees. They're always looking for chairs to kind of head that whole section. Or you could apply to be a part of the advisory council. So they're kind of our board of directors, if you will, of the HYP, and they kind of govern and keep track of all the things that we do during the summer or during the whole year. So there's a ton of ways to get involved. There's always something going on, and it's definitely a fun organization to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah, good networking opportunities. So good for you, but also good for the community. This is one of those kind of things. It's a win-win-win. And the chamber affiliation piece gets you so much access into, networking and
absolutely
and people that you wouldn't maybe meet any other way.
Yes, and that's one thing too that we started this year is a HYP ambassador kind of bridge committee. where the ambassadors get together with a group of HYP members, and they kind of, foster their growth and just kind of work on, okay, so I might be aging out of HYP, but what's my next step? Or I'm enjoying HYP and I just got involved and I'm, in it to win it. What else can I do to help the chamber or to continue those networking opportunities? Or is there more that I can do? Then they kind of transfer you or transition you into being an ambassador. So that's something new that, we had looked into and started doing this year. And I think that's going to be great, too.
Yeah, I love that because the ambassadors do such great work. I mean, they are exactly as it sounds. They're ambassadors to the community. And anytime you've got an event, oh, my gosh, you always see a group of these guys. And they're always so excited. And kind of like myself, they're cheerleaders for the community. They love living here in Hays and in Ellis County. And it's all volunteers. Mm-hmm. So everything you see them doing, it's on their own goodwill, more or less, to spread the good word of Ellis County. We
would not be as successful as we are if we did not have our ambassadors. They are an amazing, like you said, an amazing group of individuals that just go above and beyond for us every day, and we are so thankful to have them.
Yeah. And before we run out of time, we better talk about some of these weekly events because you guys always got something going on, and this week's no different.
So as I said, HYP is having their first Connection Lunch of the year tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th at Thirsty's Brew Pub and Grill in their small meeting room, and that will be at noon. The Chamber Board of Directors will also be meeting for the first time in 2023 tomorrow, Tuesday, January 17th at 3:30 at the Welcome Center, 2700 Vine Street. And we will finish off our week with a chamber chat for the Hays High Plains Barbershop Chorus. They will be at the Hays Recreation Center at 9 a.m. this Friday, January 20th.
Love that. Those guys,
they're amazing.
They are so amazing. And it's like, barbershop isn't exactly a pop style of music right now. Mm-hmm. And I remember I got more or less, not going to lie, I was pulled to one of their shows. And I was kind of dreading it. But afterwards, I was so glad that I had went because it was fun. And those guys can sing.
Oh my
it's
gosh,
amazing.
Absolutely. They are amazing.
So that's very cool. So that's coming up 9 a.m. this Friday. Are they going to perform a little bit, or you guys just
usually they sing a couple songs.
Okay.
So I can't confirm nor
anyway.
deny because I haven't seen the itinerary for that day, but usually they do.